90s dresses. There are an abundance of 90s dresses in your second-hand shops, your vintage shops, also in your mum's wardrobe. I have 4 dresses from the 90s era that I've accumulated. So please keep on watching because there are some good transformations. Okay, without further ado, here's the video. Dress number 1. She is lilac, she is floral, and she is having an identity crisis. She doesn't want to be a dress anymore, so we're gonna slice her in half. We are gonna turn this dress into a separate skirt and top. Yes, looking at this, you can see the skirt is it's pretty wide, so put it on inside out, pin the excess fabric, but make sure that it is still wide enough to go past your hips. Mark out the line where you'd like your new side seam to be and sew down that line with a straight stitch. Trim down that bulk of extra fabric that you no longer need and finish off your raw edge. I used an overlocker, which gives it this really clean sort of professional finish, which is it's quite nice. I turned in the waistband by about 2 inches, creating this tunnel that the elastic could go through. I then sewed it down, making sure to leave a little gap where I could insert the elastic. Then attaching a safety pin to the elastic to help me guide it through, I just fed it right through the tunnel until it came out the other side. All that's left to do is to join those 2 elastic ends and seal up your tunnel, and your skirt is finished. Moving on to the top, it's already perfect. All we need to do really is hem it. So I'm double turning and ironing the bottom edge flat and crisp, and then simply sewing a straight stitch all the way along, and voila! We have a really cute blouse, just like that. Dress number 2. She looks like she could be Chanel. She is chic, she is elegant. So what exactly is wrong with her? Well, let me draw your attention to these nasty, cheap ass buttons that the manufacturer used. They honestly ruined the whole dress for me. Luckily, I am a sad vintage button hoarder with a fairly admirable collection of cute little buttons. So we're gonna remove those ugly, nasty pieces of plastic and replace them with some really nice vintage buttons. A little less charity shop and a little more Chanel, am I right? And that is it for this dress. It was literally just the buttons, but honestly, I feel the dress has been transformed. Please welcome to the stage dress number 3. This polka dot piece is perfect for any afternoon tea, casual rendezvous, cocktail party, but alas, it does not fit. I have not been blessed with the chest to fill this dress. Turning the dress inside out, I mark and pin where I need the dress to sit so that it fits me properly. Then I go ahead and sew a straight stitch all the way down where I've just marked. I try it on to make sure that everything's gone okay, and yeah, it looks like it's starting to fit. Then I trim off the excess fabric and finish off that raw edge using my overlocker. Now, because we've altered the side seam, where the front bodice and back piece meet is no longer aligned. So all I'm going to do is fold back the seam allowance and sew it down to secure it to create this really nice stepping effect. And there it is, this polka dot piece is ready for its debut. For our grand finale, please welcome dress number 4. With a check pattern, a cross back, and material for days, she is full of potential. Trying on the dress, I can see that it sits too low on my body. So I'm going to adjust the straps to make them shorter so that the front bodice sits exactly where I would like it to. To do that, all I did was reattach a button however many inches higher I wanted the bodice to be. Now that that was adjusted, I wanted the bodice to fit me more snugly. So I decided to add darts at the bust, which would give the dress a little more shape and would hopefully be a bit more flattering. To make a dart, you're essentially pinching the excess fabric that you no longer need, marking and measuring its width and length. Of course, make sure that that excess fabric is going to be facing the inside of the garment. Using your measurements of width and length, you're drawing a triangle from the edge of the fabric to the body of the fabric. For a really crisp dart, you should definitely iron it down, and it should look something like this. So a simple straight stitch along the line that you've marked, and here are the results. On the inside you should see that bulk of fabric all hidden away, and on the outside it should be a crisp seam which gives the garment a bit more body and a bit more shape to fit around the contours of your body. Next, I wanted to adjust the length of the dress, so I chopped a whole chunk off. Then I simply double turned the end and ironed it down and sewed it with a straight stitch. And that is the dress complete. This is just spare fabric from that dress number 4. Don't worry guys, I will not be wasting any of this. So with that considerable amount of spare fabric, I decided to make a sort of mini A-line skirt. Taking my measurements, I cut the fabric into 3 different sections, what would become the front piece and the 2 back pieces. I overlocked what would be the side seams and sewed them together, but stopped sewing about 2 inches from the bottom. Then opening the side seam, I ironed it flat, and now you can see that I have a little slit where I stopped sewing. I'm going to reinforce this little slit by sewing around it, and then it should look like this. Next, I attached an invisible zipper to the back pieces and sealed the back closed. I added 2 darts at the back of the skirt to give it a more snug fit. To finish it off, I double turned, ironed and sewed around the waist. Okay, so with that spare fabric, we made the skirt. However, we still have this left and I don't want to waste this either. So here's what I'm thinking. A little crop top, and then it's matching with the skirt, so it's like a little set. Oh, okay, let's go! Yes, so I decided to turn that scrap fabric into a tiny top. I started by cutting the fabric into 2 rectangles. The bigger piece would be for the front part of the top. Holding it against myself, I measured how wide I wanted the neckline to be. Okay, so here is a sketch of the sort of design and shape of top that I was going for. So I cut the front piece out into this shape, and I cut the other rectangle into 2 longer, narrower strips of fabric. Draping it on my mannequin, I got a better view of what I was working with here. So I went ahead and sewed the side seams, attaching the 2 back pieces to the front. Then I trimmed the length of the front piece to match the length of the back pieces. I went on to sew 2 darts at the bust to make it more fitted and shapely. Then I double turned and ironed all of the edges and sewed them down with a straight stitch. And here is what we have so far. I got 2 strips of fabric from what was left, and I sewed each of them to either side of the neckline. I then stitched in 2 buttonholes and 2 matching buttons at the point I needed for the top to fit around my torso snugly. And that is it. We made a whole new outfit out of some spare fabric from dress number 4. Congratulations, you've made it to the end. Thank you so much for watching and watching this far. Oh, and please comment down below as to which transformation was your favourite. I'm genuinely really interested to know which people preferred. I think my favourite is the lilac, but I don't know. I really love them all. Oh, and if you try any of these yourself, which I hope you do, that would be so cool, feel free to tag me on Instagram and just at Vintage Thirsty. I hope you're having a lovely day. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hello? I'm sorry, who's speaking? Anna? Anna Winter? Yeah? You liked my thrift flips?